We are here to make people feel good about themselves. We really have to feel like we are a day maker for the guest. You've made my day. How great is that when you hear those words from your guest?
Welcome everybody to the Daymaker Podcast. I'm your host with the most, David Dolce. I have the privilege today of interviewing Rob. Rob, welcome to our show.
Thank you.
You are very welcome. Rob, you're special to me because I got to watch your whole career, right? You were at the campus that I was at. I feel like I know you very well. I've seen you do amazing things in this industry. Yes. So I'm very proud to have you here today. So
I appreciate it.
Here.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, so why did you choose barbering? Like, what happened? What inspired you?
So it started when I was around 11. Mm-hmm. I was going to this lady that was cutting my hair, and she was, as the time went on, she started to age a little bit. So the haircuts went from looking like really good to like, okay. So I was like, okay, let me try to fix this up. So I went to my dad's little closet. He had like some clippers, and I started cutting my own hair. So I started like lining myself up, of course I messed it up, but it was just like, that was like how I started to love to cut. So after that, she used to like leave like little lines in my hair. So I was like, okay, let me get my dad's other clippers. And then I started actually cutting hair. And then once I got more comfortable, I started cutting my little brother. Of course, that was bad. It was bad. It was bad.
Our families are always our first client.
Families is always the first to get it, no matter what. Even if you want to cook or whatever, but yeah. But he was my first client. To this day, I still cut his hair for free. So it was like, okay,
oh, that's cool.
So when he come in, he like, can I get the same one when I was 9 years old? Can I get the same haircut? I'm like, no, dude. You're gonna get this nice little haircut and you get it out.
That's awesome.
It is. I love him though. That's my little brother. But yeah.
I love that. So you never, you don't charge your family like that. Someone that's been there from the beginning, your first haircut.
That's true.
Yep, I got clients from when I first started ever. And
ever?
Yes. So
nice.
A lot of them, I'm like, I haven't really raised their prices much. I'm like, but they know what they're getting.
True.
So that makes me feel good. So this is so common with barbers. Like most of the barber students that we have already been cutting hair.
Yes.
Right? So why did you choose to get licensed?
Okay, so I chose to get licensed because in my barbershop, one of the owners of the barbershop, he was a stickler on license. Mm-hmm. Now, when I first started cutting hair, I started cutting hair in a barbershop in 2005. I didn't know anything about a license at that time, but I knew the guy that owned the shop, and I was like, okay, I just graduated high school. I'm pretty good at cutting hair. Mm-hmm. And he was like, okay, if you bring like a client with you that you can cut in front of me, and if it's good enough, I'll let you cut here. And I was like, oh, I'm like, okay, cool. I never knew anything about a license. So I was cutting hair, started to get good at it. Then I ended up moving out to where I'm at now in Gurnee. And then the owner of that barbershop, he was like, I need you to get your license. I want everything to be legit. Mm-hmm. And I was like, what? Like, I didn't know anything about a license, you know?
You didn't even know you needed a license?
I didn't even know I needed one. I never knew it was a thing. So he told me about Mr. E. With Mr. Elazar, and he was like, yeah, Mr. E, he's a teacher at Tricoci. And I was like,
oh, no kidding.
Yeah,
that's
he's
cool.
the one who told me. So I called up to the school, and I got and I came in, and I loved it. I was like, I didn't know anything about like cutting hair and like coloring hair and everything like that. Uh-huh. And I seen one of the promo videos when I was sitting there waiting to talk to somebody at the front desk, and I was like, I want to do that. I want to learn how to color hair, and like I seen like it was like some woman on the screen with like pink hair and like sky blue hair. I was like, I want to learn that, and I was like, awesome. This is where I want to go.
That's really cool. That's the best part about the barber program.
Yes.
You don't realize it. You're learning color. You're learning the barber manicures, the facials, and all of that. The more that you can bring to your client to the chair, the more money they're going to spend on you. Yes. It's a commission-based job. Like, that's how you get paid.
Yes. And for me, like my clients that I have they never experienced the facial. They never experienced like the manicures or anything like that. And that's something that when I graduated, I started to implement into my regimen for cutting hair, and I was like, okay, I like this, because now it's like more like you can upcharge for stuff. So they teach you about upcharging. So so when I get like a person that want a facial, okay, it's this price. But if you want to get a facial, it's this price. then they were like, what's a facial? And I get to explain it to them. Then I learned about product management from being at Tricoci. So it was like, okay, I like this a lot because I get to be able to teach my clients while I'm servicing them at the same time.
Yep, that's what it's all about, teaching them what you do so they can look good at home, not just when they're in your chair.
Exactly.
I love it. You're picking up all the good stuff from Tricoci, Rob.
Yes, I love it. I love it.
So did you ever be in a situation where you got somebody else's client because somebody wanted color, they wanted a facial, they saw what you were doing, and then that other barber's like, oh, I don't do that, I just fade? Yeah,
so I sit more in the middle of the shop. So clients from both sides of the barbershop can see me. So if I'm doing a facial, I got the steamer, I got everything going, and then the client come in, they look back and they looking like, what's that? And they be like, oh, he doing a facial. Do you do those? They're like, nah, I don't do those.
Yes, see?
I got you.
Yes.
I got you.
I love it.
But that's the thing, I love it because the barbers that don't dabble into that kind of area, they'll tell their clients, go see Rob.
That's cool.
And I love it because we have that camaraderie between us that actually do that. Or another client come in, they see me doing a facial, I always let them know, like, okay, I can do it, but at the end of the day, you got to go back to your barber because I want to make sure that me personally, I never like bad blood in barbershops because of client stealers and stuff like that. So in my barbershop, we never do that. So even if, say, of another barber and they're too busy and they say, Rob, can you cut one of my clients? If I got some free time, I'll cut them. But while they're in the chair, I got to let you know, hey, I'm cutting your hair and how was your day and everything like that. But you got to go back to your barber because that's my friend and that's my brother.
The brotherhood. Yep, exactly.
Yeah. So that's why I always let them know. Even when I do facials, everybody like, oh my God, you want to cut my hair too?
No.
No. Like, that's your barber. I'm just doing a facial for you because I really appreciate the fact that you wanted to get in my chair, but that's your barber.
Good for you, Rob. I love that you mentioned like the rapport you have with the other people in your barbershop because that's something that I've noticed. I was working for Tricoci like a few weeks and Miss Amy's like, oh, you're coming with me to this barber battle. It's when we first started to get the program and we wanted to be present. And when I went to that barber battle and I saw what the barber culture was about, I was sold from the minute I walked in there. The energy's crazy. You create this brotherhood with all these people. Like, it's a huge family.
Yes.
Like, sometimes in the cosmetology world, there's some competition going on. You know what I mean? But you never, ever, ever see that with the barbers. Like, you feel like you're part of family.
Yeah, it's like a barber brotherhood. I love it, man. Everything about barbering to me, it's when you're in a barbershop and somebody comes into the barbershop and they have like a problem, you can talk about it amongst the barbers. You know what I mean?
Yes,
it's almost like therapy.
Yep.
So if you have problems, you go straight to the barbershop because everybody got a point of view. Like, I've never been married, and I always ask my older clients, like, how long you been married? Some of them say 10, 15, 20. How do you stay married?
It's a good question.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You get some crazy answers, but you get the good answers. Some of them, keep a girlfriend on the side. And I'm like, no, you can't do that. But then they're like, no, I'm just playing. You just got to listen. You know what I mean? Just listen and have communication. You know what I mean? And that's what a lot of them say. Listen and communication is the best thing to have with your significant other. So that's why I like going to the barbershop or being in a barbershop because I get to just see different walks of life amongst everybody.
So speaking of significant others, you got a girlfriend, right?
Yes, I do. Her name's Maria.
She's also a Tricoci University graduate.
That's true.
She went to our aesthetics program.
Yes.
Have you guys maybe learned things from each other?
Yes. So she taught me about of course when you're in school and they teach you about like Tapotement, effleurage, petrissage, and stuff like that with the facials. But she actually does a facial on me at home. So I try to take that and the motions and the hand strokes that she used, and I take it to the barbershop. And I always ask her, like, what's a good facial cream to get, or what's a good this, or I always ask a little stuff like that just so I can be able to take it and implement it into what I do at the barbershop. So that's like a win-win for me.
That's great.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because you definitely do the good facial
Yes.
side. I love it.
Like,
that's awesome that you guys get to share ideas like that. That's perfect because you said you do the facials at your shop. That's fantastic. So you chose Tricoci University. There's tons of barbershops out there. I know that you were referred from Mr. E. Did you look at any other schools first and then Tricoci stood out to you for some reason?
Yes, I looked at 2 other ones and they wasn't my cup of tea. And when I came to the campus and I seen that video, I think the video sold me, and I was like, oh yeah, I want to go here, because I went to the other campuses of the other schools and everything, and I was just like, okay, it's cool. But a lot of them, they wanted to speak to me first about money versus my experience.
Really?
Yeah, and I didn't like that. I was like, you want my money?
About it.
Yeah, and then a couple of other schools I heard, like, if you pay them a little extra under the table, you don't have to go to school. And I was like, I don't want that kind of,
That's crazy.
I was like, I don't want that kind of education. I want to be able to actually go to school, learn stuff, and, you know, and graduate and get my license
And be
the
a
right
professional.
way. Exactly. Because you can't fake that test that you got to take once you graduate. You can't fake that.
No.
That's real.
No, it is real.
That's real.
And you need that education.
Yes, you do.
So it was worth it. The
Yes,
investment was worth it, right? The time investment. You did the part-time program, didn't you?
I did the part-time program, so it took me like a year and a couple months. And I seen a lot of barbers on the way in, so it was like I was able to make like a brotherhood with those guys, because it was like, okay, you come in, I see you, I can give you some experience from what I went through, and then you can take that with you when you leave. And I knew I was gonna leave sooner or later, but it was like, okay, at least I make an impact on these guys while they're here, because a lot of them were younger, so they didn't really know a lot of stuff about the barbering industry that I can help them with, you know. So along with, of course, like Mr. E, Miss Pam, you know, Miss Casey, and you know. But.
Yep. I mean, you're a great student. You were like the go-to. Hey, Rob, can you help me carry this?
Yeah.
I have to move this. You help me? Yeah, sure. Always. You're always up helping
Always.
everybody. That's how I connected with you. You just
Yep.
were a part. You didn't care if you were an esthetician, a cosmetologist. You were all.
I used to like your shoes. I'm
helping
like, who's the guy
everybody.
with the nice shoes?
Yeah.
That was Mr. David.
Oh, I love my shoes. That's awesome. I love that. So, what I know, like, I follow you on Instagram, and maybe that's TikTok, but I see those videos on Instagram because I'm older. You are hysterical, Rob. I was seeing these videos of you with the blower,
dryer,
people's lips are going,
God,
and like, it cracks me up. How did you get into all of that, and how did that play a big part in like your career?
So for me, it was more of I went into the haircutting tutorials, and I seen like the numbers behind that. Then I went to this is what you do if you're in this kind of situation type of haircuts videos, and then I went from that to like doing like the special like flip the cameras and to like do nice transitions with your phone, then go on CapCut and like edit them. And I was like, you know what? I never went the comedy route, but I also never showed my face because I was like a nervous person on it. But I was like, okay, let me just like step outside the box a little bit. Let me do something different. So I looked at my analytics on my Facebook page, on my Instagram page, and I seen like, okay, this is the demographic that I have. This is the age of everybody that I have, and this is where the locations are. So what I did was I started checking those locations and see what almost like what barbers in the area are doing to get notified, like to get like seen on social media. And I was like, okay, I'm a funny guy.
You are.
I think I got a calling with this. So I was like, okay, you know what? So I got one of my clients. He's an actor. His name is Bobby, and I was like, would you like to do a skit with me? And he was like, what? Yes. He said, I watch barber skits all day. And I was like, what? I was like, let's do it. And he was like, okay, let's do it. So I went and I got like the little small microphones that you get, you know. So I got a bunch of those. Well, I got a couple of those, and then I just said, okay, let's sit down and what do you want to talk about? He was like, you know what? Just turn on the camera and just do a haircut, and we just gonna go with whatever happens at that moment. And that's how we did our first video. It was such a success. It had like 20,000 views.
That's
in like
crazy.
5 hours or something like that.
Look, in your first one.
Yes, and I was like, after that, I was like, okay, I got something here. This is what I'm doing. I want to do like the comedy route, but it's pretty nice though. I love it.
You do. Like,
Yes.
I crack up. I'm in bed, wherever I'm with my husband. I'm like, look at that. That's Rob. He was our student. Hi. He's like, I
Yes.
know. You tell me about Rob all the time. Real quick,
Yes.
why don't you share your handle with everybody?
So
they
my
can follow you?
Instagram is at Rob the Barber, ROBTHA, Barber, BARBER, and that's on Instagram. That's on TikTok as well.
Awesome. I want everybody to have the opportunity to be entertained like I am.
Yes,
It's great.
Like the ones that I did with my other friend. His name is Nate. We did a couple videos, and like, oh my, those like did a lot of numbers. Like they did like it's almost at 1 million views right now.
That's crazy,
Yes,
Rob.
yes.
I get like 20 likes, and I'm like, oh look, 20, yes.
Oh my God.
So I love it because you cut without a license, you cut with a license, and you have a pretty high-end clientele.
Yeah.
Do you think getting that license helped you develop the clientele that you have?
I feel like the license helped me with my ability to, if I wanted to leave and go somewhere else, I can. Without that, because I can go anywhere and have my license, and I can feel like I belong there. And having that license that actually helped me get a lot of the Bears players, get a lot of the, like, I got a couple of rappers or, you know, stuff like that. So that, it helped me in that kind of aspect, because it really, like one of my clients, he's an actor. And before I went to school, he told one of the directors or whoever he talked to, and he was like, I want to bring my barber on. And they were like, okay, cool. And that was going to be my way to like get grandfathered into the whole barbering for movie sets.
Wow.
Yeah, so I was like, oh, perfect. I'm like, oh my God. They were like, all they need is your license. Well, what kind of license are you talking about? He was like, barber license. I'm like, no.
Oh
I'm like, I don't have a barber license.
Real?
Yes. And that was like 2018. And they was gonna be doing a movie for Static Shock.
Wow.
It's like an African American superhero type of guy, and they wanted me to come to the set to cut hair for it, because my client was gonna be the main character. But I said I didn't have a license, so.
Rob, that's crazy.
Yes.
But you said you're doing rappers, you do Chicago Bear players.
Yes.
I mean, you got the clientele
Yes,
that
I
you
do.
got to close the shop down. So
Yeah,
they
I
can
see.
come
For the guys that's like really well known, I close the shop down. So at night, I said I'm coming around like 8:30, 9 o'clock, because I take my last client like 7:30. So I get a chance for everybody to leave the shop, and then I cut those guys. Then I like close the shades down or whatever, so I can make them feel comfortable. But a lot of them, to be honest, they just come in doing regular hours too. And I treat them normal, and everybody treat them normal, because we get to see like a athlete almost on a daily basis, because we get like Spice Adams come in, which is Anthony Adams. He's very big on social media, and everybody just, when they come in, he just say what's up to everybody, and we just go from there. It's just so
great.
fun.
It makes them come back to you because they can feel comfortable, feel
Yes.
like a normal person.
And I don't treat them like I'm a fan. It's more like, how you doing today, bro? You good? Okay. What you doing for the weekend? I talk like that versus, hey, can I get free tickets, or can I get a picture with you? I never ask for pictures. Unless they want to see, just like you said, you see my videos. They be like, man, can I do a video? Can we do one of those videos?
See, you got people asking you to do those
so I was like,
videos
I'm like, yeah, let's do it. Yeah.
So I got like a few signature questions that we like to add and ask on this podcast. Being a day maker, when did you realize that you have the power to actually become a day maker for somebody?
So that's the best feeling to have as a barber. When somebody comes to you, especially a new client, if they come to me and they say, I went here, they messed it up, and I did, and I just try to make them feel comfortable. Okay, I got you. You came to the right place. I always try to make them feel comfortable. That's the prime thing that you need to do. Make them feel comfortable. Once I make them feel comfortable, I know my skill set already. That's gonna be a given. But I want the experience that you have in my chair to be one of the best experiences you ever had. That's when I bring out the steamer and the facial massages, everything like that. Stuff that they don't get when they go to other barbershops. So that's what I do. So once they leave the chair and I give them the mirror, I try to keep them away from the mirror at all times.
Yeah.
'Cause I don't want them to see it. Because a lot of clients be nosy.
They are.
So as soon as you try to turn around to get like a clipper, they be like,
Man, clients,
you know?
I walk away and I see them peel open the foil and take a picture with their phone to make sure they're not. I'm like, you're gonna be orange.
Yes.
I'm showing you, so I don't know what to take a picture of.
Exactly. So what I did now is I got like a little sign to say, stop being nosy on the mirror. And I got like a little hand to point like this. So now that when they turn around, they see it, they're like, yep, it got you, didn't it? They're like, yeah. So once they get out the chair and they turn around and they see their haircut, they're like, oh my God, this is what I've been looking for. But the thing is, Mr. E always taught me, make sure your consultation is A1.
Awesome.
So
yes.
I always make sure that I ask what length they want their hair. Do you have a picture of reference? Do you want like a fade on the side? What do you want exactly? So then I repeat it back to you. So you want this, you want a number 4 on the top, you want a 2 on the side, you want the sides taper, you want the back taper, and you want your line, your beard razor lined like this. And they're like, yes, just like that. And I'm like, okay, cool, I got you.
Yeah, because like we know the lingo and we say things, just comes out of our mouth like it's our own vocabulary, right?
Exactly.
But these clients don't know. Some of them don't know what a balayage, highlight, a low fade, a mid fade, high fade, where that's going to take you on your level.
Exactly.
The consultation is everything.
It's everything. And Mr. always said, the consultation is key. And I was like, okay, I got you. So I always remember that. No matter, to this day, I can still hear his voice. Not the saying, but his voice telling me that. So I was like, okay, cool, I got this, Mr. E.
He's a good man.
Yeah, he is.
He's great.
And Miss Pam, oh my God, I love Miss Pam.
I love Miss Pam, I know. I'm all about that campus. Now I travel around all the different campuses.
Yeah,
but it's
CNW
like,
all
you
day.
got your home, right?
That's
right.
right.
My home base.
That's right.
That's where I started. That's where it all started.
So if you see me at the Beauty Blitz, you know I'm going to be.
Cheering for CNW.
That's right,
yes,
baby.
Yeah, you've been to our beauty blitzes,
Yes.
and that's really cool. I see your enthusiasm. We didn't have those back in the day, right?
Yes,
seeing
I
how
was.
huge
When I
and
seen it for
blown up they are.
Exactly. When I seen the first one, I was like, "This is amazing." Then when I went to the second one, I was blown away. It was massive. I was like, "Okay." I got chills like in my because I've been doing in the hair industry for so long. It's like it's hard to get excited about something. And I really got excited about that Beauty Blitz, and I got chills. I was like, "Oh my God!" I get nervous, and I wasn't even on stage, and I was still like, "Oh my God, this is amazing!" Like the camaraderie amongst everybody, like even like the school spirit, like with every school, like oh my God, it's so overwhelming, and I love it. I said I want to go every year. I'm there every year, and I was like, I want to be a part of it some kind of way. I know I won't be able to hit the stage like that one lady. She be up there. I know I can't do that because I don't have that kind of energy.
This is great.
Yeah, but I want to do something because I was like,
you will, Rob. I will get you involved for sure, 100%.
So
yep.
I love it. I went and I looked at because I recorded almost everything. Like my phone was like, okay, dude, like calm down. It's too many pictures and videos. But I went back and I just looked at it, tried to re-immerse myself in it. Mm-hmm. God, it was amazing.
I was like on the inside when everybody's getting ready to pile in, and I hear these noisemakers and these blowers.
Yes, and it was like
sounded like the walls were gonna come down, and then we open these doors, and everybody's rushing in, cheering for
and if you look
school.
if you look on the Tricoci website on your Instagram, you can see me running in because I'm like,
I'm gonna watch for it now.
Oh my God.
I got tears in my eyes because you work at these schools all day long,
Yes.
and sometimes it takes a lot of effort for you to get that person to just stand up. You know what I mean? And seeing them so enthusiastic about the business,
Yes,
I love it. I love it in their
it.
school. Yeah,
Yes.
I could talk about the beauty. Like I was on a high for like 2 weeks.
Yes,
after.
you was flying around like, I'm like, how you doing, Miss Day? Hey, Rob, how you doing? You was flying. I was like, oh my God, you working today.
I'm working. It took some weeks of working like that.
Yes.
So how do you think the way that you treat your clients, they're going to take that when they leave? So beyond the chair, how do you feel like you affect their daily lives?
So for me, I think about every time a client comes into the shop, I want to say like a customer. When a customer comes in, your main focus is to turn them into a client. Mm-hmm. Customers go anywhere. Clients come to you.
Yes.
So that's what I always try to do. I try to make sure. I always ask like, so where did you get your haircut at last? What made you leave? Then once they tell me their problems,
that's a great question.
I become the solver. So I want to make sure the other barber used to just take not enough time on my haircut. They try to speed through a haircut, or they smelled like something. You know what I mean? Or and I always try to say like, okay, cool. So I know exactly what not to do, even though I don't do it anyway. But it's like, okay, I got you. So I always ask questions. And my thing is, even with the new barbers, when I talk to new barbers, I always tell them like, if you got a new client in your chair or a new customer in your chair, get your phone after they leave. Ask them questions. What's their name? Oh, you just getting off of work? Now you know what they do for a living.
Yep.
You got any kids? Now you know if they got kids or not. Are you married? Stuff like that. But it's not like you're not interviewing them. It's more like a casual conversation. So with that casual conversation, you learn a lot of stuff about them. Then once they leave, I write everything down on their contact information. So now when they come back for a haircut and I see, oh, it's David. Oh, he got this and that and this and that. Okay, cool. How you doing, David? How you doing? Oh, can I get a haircut? Okay, I got you. When they come in for the haircut, the next haircut. So how's that job going? Did you get that interview? How was the interview? How your 2 kids doing? Oh, you remembered that? Yeah, I did. But in actuality, I just wrote it down so I can make little small notes about the person.
That's smart.
So I can learn. And then that kind of stuff leads to word of mouth. then I got your brother, or I got your cousin, or I got your husband, or I got somebody that's gonna be willing to come and get a haircut by me so they can get that same experience that you got.
That's great. And that kind of ties into my next question was like, how does all of that help you retain clients?
Oh yeah, my retention is amazing.
Rob,
it's
it's
crazy.
got to be.
Yes, it's crazy. Like I have to, sometimes I gotta find time for some of my clients because everybody, when they're in the chair, they like to talk to me because I like to talk. I'm a talker. Mm-hmm. So they like to talk about different stuff, or they like to talk about what kind of shoes about to come out. Stuff, if I notice something about you when you first come in, I'll give you like a once over, and I see that you're into shoes, or I see that you're into watches, or I see you got a ring, or you got a manicure, anything like that. I always try to, okay, so where you get your manicure? Or any little thing so I can make you feel special. So when you leave, you know you want to come back to me.
That's awesome. That's a Daymaker.
Yes.
Rob, thank you so much for being here with us. I
Anytime.
hope actually I can get you even to come into the school sometime to talk to the barbers because they need some motivation and inspiration too. You know how it gets halfway through the program. You're like, I still got 750 hours to go. So I would love to have you anytime.
I would definitely come through because I want to see this new generation of barbers like just blow up, dude. Like just take it to the next level because because I started in 2005, so the barbering plateau was so high, but now it seemed like everything is getting better, which is, I love that. But I want to see the new barbers that's still in school right now. Don't give up. Don't, just because you're not getting it now don't mean you won't get it later.
Yep.
And that's all I want to tell everybody because a lot of people get discouraged. I don't want you to get discouraged. Just do your best.
Especially today, instant gratification right there on your phone every 5 seconds. You don't realize, just wait a minute. You're going to get good things.
Exactly, because a lot of people, what they do now is they'll take a picture, doctor the picture up, and then when it's barber and barber school see it, they think that, oh, this picture is so perfect, but my haircuts don't look like that. When in actuality, a lot of people just edit videos and stuff like that, edit pictures. And just because yours don't look like that don't mean that you can't strive to make it, to get that perfect haircut.
That's right. You're an inspiration, Rob. Thank you again so much. I'm glad you did this with me. Yeah, I jumped on the opportunity to call you right away. You're like,
I was like, what? And as soon as I said yes and I sent it, I was like, oh my God, I never did a podcast before. Oh my God.
It's fun.
But I was like, if it was you, I was like, I got to do it.
I love it. Thank you, Rob.
Anytime.
I'm glad we have that relationship, and that's what it's all about.
Definitely. I'm here.
Thank you.
Just let me know when you need me. Call me.
You got it.